All right, welcome everyone to a special live edition of the Phantom Effect podcast. If you are listening to this, just bear in mind that we'll be cutting in and out as people are potentially asking questions or various other things. So just kind of prepare yourselves for some of that stuff that's going on. This is one that we've talked about for a long time, and just wanted to make sure we did proper research and build up some good. So I've been excited to do this one for a while, on why Ash Ketchum is the worst Pokemon trainer of all time. As always, I am your host, your Sherpa to fandom, your guide to the things that you want to know about the Bushido Geek, joined with what will probably, I think, end up being a few special guests. We have Dungeon Master Mark back for a repeat visit.
Hello.
To talk some Pokemon, and that's everyone of note. So we can get started.
You know, it's always weird because you call yourself a Sherpa, yet you have no sheep that follow you.
You're here.
Yeah, you always follow me.
Wake up, sheeple.
I don't follow you. I walk next to you, maybe at a pace a little quicker.
You're obsessed with me.
You're obsessed with me. You have a poster. I'm not the one with the poster of me on their wall, Mark.
You're like obsessed. But this is also like a little. We're doing this also as another celebration for hitting 50 followers on Twitch yesterday. So if you haven't followed us, if you haven't followed myself and Devin yet on Twitch, make sure you do so at twitch.tv/BushidoGeek and Dreamy_Kong. We will have Jay Vulpix Cosplay joining us in a little bit, along with potentially some other friends as well. But we'll kind of jump right into it. So, you know, we wanted to do this one for a while, Devin, because, you know, Ash just won his first Pokemon competition, and after 20 years of the anime and somehow within a year of game time, but it wasn't even a legit Pokemon competition, which we'll get into. But it kind of made us thinking that we really wanted to do an episode on, like, not necessarily the fandom of Pokemon, but like why people are still obsessed with Ash Ketchum as the main character when he's actually just a horrible Pokemon trainer.
Now he's got he has to have like Benjamin Button disease or something, because Homeboy's like still 10.
I just looked up a theory about that. We can discuss.
Because what, Pokemon started in '98 with him?
So what it was saying was, for those of you who haven't seen the Pokemon the first movie, spoilers for a movie that came out in like '97, but Ash gets in the middle of like a fight between, like, a Dragon Ball Z fight between Mew and Mewtwo, and they both like launch beams and he gets like right in the middle and he gets turned to stone. And someone was like, what if the reason he doesn't age is because when like he turns back to normal, he's now immortal?
Which is an interesting idea. But I mean, you know, it's just them being like, no, we don't want him to age, because you can look at other like normal shows like Digimon where they just aged the group by
gracefully,
gracefully by how long they have been gone for.
Mm-hmm.
But it really made us think, like, okay, he just won his first, competition after 20 years. Like what else has he just screwed up or done bad, or just like not been like? So we started diving into it, and we'll go into different parts of it. So we'll try to we're gonna try to figure out where he kind of went wrong in a lot of ways. So not only this, but I gotta say, one of the big things to me is that, like,
I think
he's
it all
always
has
surrounded
to do
by other people.
Mark, I have to say, I think it went wrong when he didn't wake up early.
It's where it all went downhill from there.
Yeah.
You don't wake up early; it just shuts your whole day down. So you just
it just ruins everything.
Mm-hmm.
So I got a lot of we got a lot of links pulled up. We got a lot of things pulled up. So we're gonna start with Kanto, or at least we're gonna try to stick to, not Indigo, not Kanto, Indigo. Indigo being the first league that
which is Kanto.
Which is, well, I guess technically everything is Kanto.
No, Kanto was just the first region where the Indigo
was it? Oh, okay.
Was. And then Johto, and then Hoenn. Like,
okay.
Yeah, that's the first region.
Oh, we got
Jay Vulpix is here.
Hey guys.
So we just started.
Turn yourself.
Yeah, we just started. We're gonna stick with Kanto Indigo League. We're gonna try to go through different regions like Pokemon he had, gave up. We'll do it for the first time, but bear with us that whenever we mention the Pokemon he either essentially ended the tournament with or ended the region with, every single time the one consistency is that he starts off in the next region with just Pikachu, because he says he wants to start off like fresh in each new region every time. And I think we lost Jay Vulpix. She might be frozen here. So we'll do it for the first time. We'll cover the Pokemon that he kind of gave up. But then after that, just bear with us that any Pokemon that we talk about in any of the future regions, when we get to the end, that means he no longer has that Pokemon because he gives them all up except for Pikachu.
Wait. So, before we start, did anyone watch more than just like the first, like the Indigo League? Did anyone watch beyond that? Because I watched a little bit of Johto when I was a kid.
I watched like half of Johto because I really liked Totodile and all them.
Yeah.
And I can't remember the other names of the ones, but like I really like.
We're extremely qualified to comment on seasons beyond that.
Yeah, considering
we
we've
got
watched
Chikorita, Totodile, and.
Oh, I know the Pokemon. I just haven't watched the show beyond Johto.
But so, like, the other thing is, too, Mark, we're going to go on to all this stuff, but I do want to state that this is also a guy who, when he accumulates these Pokemon, he never actually learns how to properly use these Pokemon, and is accompanied by, two gym leaders, essentially? So the fact that he doesn't learn how to use them properly,
or other people. Like
terrible.
I know other people follow him around, but they're usually like
Yes.
really qualified people. They're either like former gym leaders, or they're like people trying to be like Pokemon nurses or doctors, or they're. I know one of the leagues he gets followed by like a Pokemon artist who like travels around to like draw Pokemon, but understands like their habits and stuff because he follows them around so much.
I believe that was Tracy Sketchin.
Yeah, and
that was crazy.
I just gave up on Johto when it was. I remember trying to watch it, and then I stopped. And then I heard that he was fighting in the Johto League, like the conference or whatever. And I started watching that and watched him lose, and I was like, "What? Like again? Like he lost again." And I was like, all right, I'm done. Like, I was like, I can't do this anymore. And I just stopped watching because it was like, he was never going to win. And it just like, the stuff kept going of just the monotonous of it. I mean, I loved Pokemon. I mean, played the games. I mean, again, we're not diving into the Pokemon fandom. That can be for a future podcast where we dive into like the Pokemon games and like all that kind of stuff. Yeah, this is pretty much just exclusive to the anime of why Ash Ketchum is actually a horrible Pokemon trainer. I know the argument of like, well, he makes friends with all the legendaries and blah, blah, blah. I'm like, yeah, but not once has he made an attempt to catch them. And even when a strong Pokemon shows willingness to have him catch them, he's like, oh, no, I don't want to take you away from your friends. You have fun. And I'm like, yeah, I'm pretty sure someone else is just going to catch him like down the road and live a miserable life because you didn't have the courage to catch a Pokemon.
Basically, I mean, it's going to just be like, oh, you're not going to get him? No.
Okay.
He's okay. Okay, well, fuck you. Basketball.
Okay, you were saying like, where did it start going wrong? Like, obviously he didn't wake up on time, but like there's a moment I think where as a viewer, you start to realize, oh, this kid doesn't know what he's doing. Like when he tries to like use his jacket to catch a Pidgey because Pikachu won't cooperate, and he's like, yeah, and he tries to jump on it, and the Pidgey just is like, yeah, no.
I'm just gonna go home.
He put out he had an electric type Pokemon, and he used the Krabby against a Cloyster instead.
Yeah, as you
do. Water against water. It's a normal thing.
In Viridian Forest, he used Caterpie to try to take out Pidgeotto. And like even Misty's like, birds eat worms, you idiot. And like how funny would it have been if just like go Caterpie.
Eat. Oh God. Wait. No, that's not supposed to happen. So we'll start off with Kanto, and obviously, so Kanto's how it first starts. So to kind of like, so he starts off obviously with Pikachu because he oversleeps and he can't get one of the starters. So he oversleeps, gets Pikachu,
The starter.
and then very quickly on gets like as Mark just mentioned, a Caterpie in Viridian Forest, and he gets a Pidgeotto, a Bulbasaur, a Charmander, and a Squirtle. So like they evolve, and we'll go over that stuff. But those are primarily what he starts with, like the main ones he uses for the vast majority of the competition. And so what I want to do is I'm just going to cover the other ones he catches, and the fact that he was just super stupid with all of these things, like just in general. So he gets Eradicate and trades it for a Butterfree. So that's just we can just break.
It's the other way around. He had a Butterfree.
No, he trades back for his Butterfree.
Yeah, he trades back.
Okay, yeah, that's what you're saying.
Yeah, but I'm saying like, so for a brief moment, he takes a Caterpie, evolves it into a Metapod, evolves it into a Butterfree, which even in the game, Butterfree is considered like the world of Pokemon anime. Butterfree is considered a very strong Pokemon. So he gets a Butterfree, trains it from scratch, and goes, yeah, but you have a Rattata thing that evolved. Let's trade. And trades a flying poison type for a normal type of one of the most common Pokemon in the entire region in Eradicate. I mean, just that already is like, how stupid are you?
Where you might find like a ton of Zubats or anything, like Rattata is found almost everywhere in that game. So the fact that he could never like be like, oh wow, you have Eradicate, that's super rare and special. Like, let's trade.
Yeah.
That's like the kid in 4th grade who gave me his level 100 Rattata because I didn't know how to do the 100 candy glitch, and he's like, here, I'll trade it to you for your Kabuto. And I was like, yeah, great deal.
Of course, a level 100. The days of getting screwed by. Okay, so then he gets a Krabby, which he does get to evolve into a Kingler, and then has it. It's in the Kanto League with him, and then he immediately gives up Kingler and never uses him again. After Kanto, and Kingler is one of the most powerful water Pokemon. He
brings him back for the league.
Yeah, he brings him back for the league.
Kingler for the
and
league.
Then and then ditch it, and then he just disappears and does Krabby things. Over with Professor Oak. And then the next episode of what him being a complete idiot was Primeape. So he catches a Mankey when it steals his hat, and then they bond, and it evolves into Primeape, but it won't follow his commands. It just goes on rampages all the time. Then he gets his respect, where the Pokemon will clearly listen to him in an episode where, like, you can tell Primeape would not listen to him, but he goes, no, you're better off with somebody else. So he gives up Primeape to just like straight up gives him to another trainer who is used to training fighting Pokemon. So again, the premise of being a Pokemon trainer is to catch them all and to master using all types of Pokemon, but he gives up a Primeape because the other guy can maybe do it better.
I mean, the obvious answer is if you give Ash a powerful Pokemon, you can't write an excuse as to why he can't win at the league. But more within the context of the story, do you think Ash just has that voice in his head that's just like, that Pokemon's not marketable. People like Squirtle and Pikachu.
It won't work. No one will buy the toy.
Exactly.
Get rid of it.
Similar to the
Maybe
book,
he's getting royalties. He's getting royalties on the merch from like Squirtle and Charmander. So he's like, if I keep using these, I get a bigger check. He's been throwing his fights this whole time. We didn't know.
You give a mouse a cookie, he'll want a glass of milk. You give Ash a Pokemon, he's going to throw it down the toilet. That's basically how it is, Mark.
Keep going, because when you're finished with the Pokemon, I get the list of the gym badges. But go on.
Yeah, and again, we're not going to do this for every single conference. Like we're mainly focusing on the first one because that's like obviously where it all started, and then we'll kind of like start just touching on the Pokemon in general that he gives up in various different ways, but we just wanted to mainly do the first one in greater detail. So he gives up a Haunter that he catches in Lavender Town because he loses to Sabrina, and then Haunter
Did he
really
catch Haunter though? I thought Haunter just kind of followed him.
It kind of followed him, but like he could have like easily caught it, which I guess is another dumbass mistake. A Haunter starts following him and agrees to help him fight against the gym leader. And instead of catching it, he goes, "Oh, you're probably going to be you're friends with that gym leader that we just beat. So I'm going to leave you with her and give her another powerful Pokemon. Even though I used you to win." So kind of like a double-edged "you're an idiot" move. And if you're tuning in, JFallPix is having some internet issues, so she's going to try to come back if she can. But we'll see what happens. So then Muck is another one where he does catch it and uses it a little bit, but then immediately after the very first Into League barely brings it back out, and Muck is obviously a very powerful Pokemon. And just so he gives up, quick correction, he gives up Kingler after Johto. He just decides never to use him again. And then obviously the fact that Ash has 30 Tauros, which is funny because I guess in the Japanese anime, the episode where he catches a Tauros was never aired in the US because they used firearms in the Japanese version.
I've watched clips of it though, and it's actually pretty funny because he'll see something like actually worth catching, like a Dratini, and as he throws the ball, a Tauros will just run by in front of it, and he catches it. But it's like he just is like, "Oh well, I caught a Tauros. Oh well, can't just like take the Tauros and throw it at the Dratini I was aiming for now."
Yeah, and so that's the running gag, is that every time he throws a Safari Ball at something really good, like an Electabuzz or something, or whatever it is, a Tauros runs in the way out of nowhere, and that's why he catches 30 of them, which leads to him at the final round of the Johto League being like, I'm going to use a Tauros that I've never used before, and I'm sure that'll go up very well. So, Mark, why don't you go over the gym stuff, and then we can go over what happens to all of his starters.
All right. So when we talked about the fact that we were doing this whole review on Ash's, this is Ash's quarterly performance review. He does, in terms of season 1, I was like, how many gym badges did he actually earn? Because I feel like some were just given to him, or it's like, here, thanks for helping with Team Rocket, have a badge. So I went back and looked about the details about his different victories. So we'll start off with the Pewter Gym against Brock. So as with, I'm not going to repeat myself over and over again, he lost almost against every gym leader the first time he went up against them. I'll stop in ones that he didn't, but pretty much every single one he lost in the first round. So what he did after losing is he takes Pikachu to a hydroelectric plant and like gets on the water wheel and like charges up Pikachu, which I think is like the Pokemon equivalent of like juicing your Pokemon. So I don't even know if that's legal, but
Pokemon steroids. You ever heard of them?
Yeah, that's what I'm basically saying. He like powered up his Pikachu in the fight, and then they get in there, and the only reason that Pikachu really wins is because the sprinklers go off and weaken Onix. And Brock is like, okay, you know what? No, I don't want my Onix to win. So Ash wins by juicing Pikachu and also with the assistance of the sprinkler system.
I feel like he's like, I'm just picturing a Pikachu like sitting there with pulling his shorts down a little bit and just be like, hit me, Ash. Just hit it right with the big ass needle, just like
Pika. Yeah. And I don't know if you went over all of them, but yeah.
No, we can stop and talk about them as we go.
No, because we have a lot we got to go over. So
okay, all right, I'll power through. So against Misty in the second gym, he ends up getting interrupted by Team Rocket, and they were like, "Yeah, have a badge. Thanks for helping with them." So that was just kind of given to him. Lieutenant Surge, he did actually win. This was one that, again, he did lose the first round, but he did actually win Pikachu versus Raichu. Didn't have to be that hard if he paid attention to type advantages, but that's what he went with. With Sabrina, this was another example of he just kind of got the badge given to him. He lost to Sabrina, showed up again and was losing again, but then Haunter just shows up and it makes her laugh, and she's like, "Oh, you know what? I'm not evil anymore. Here, have a badge." With Erica, it was another Team Rocket situation. They showed up and you know, caused mischief, and then Ash helped, and they were like, "Yeah, that's fine. Have a badge." Koga for the Soul Badge in Fuchsia City, he did win on the second round, and the same thing with Blaine. And then with Team Rocket, he had to fight in the last gym because Giovanni had to go deal with stuff involving Mewtwo that, if you know the canon, tied into the movie. But anyways, they had to fight Team Rocket instead of Giovanni. So this one we could argue about either way, because he didn't have to fight Giovanni or Giovanni's Pokemon. He had to fight Jesse and James, who he's already beaten, you know, a couple hundred times.
So many
and
times.
He actually doesn't, they don't give him the badge. They like set up this mechanism where they would get shocked to feel pain when their Pokemon feels pain. And he ends up like powering them up so much that they just drop the badge into his hand. So, I mean, he really only earned like 3 or 4 badges, depending on how you want to go. Some of them are kind of iffy, but that's half of them. And lest we forget, Gary Oak had 10 badges.
Yes. Yeah. And so what we're going to do now is we're just going to very quick, I'm going to kind of go over the different like teams that he's had and the various different things. And then we'll kind of talk about some of the Pokemon that were in them. Then we'll kind of go into some of the really dumb reasons he's let a Pokemon go or just chosen not to catch one.
I do want to interject too that there was a moment when, I mean, there's multiple people he's lost to as well that are just like embarrassments essentially. And, you know, you have people such as like Richie, Tobias just brutally just like beat him out. You have Whitney, Samurai,
and
AJ,
again,
Rourke.
Those of you who remember, Richie is the person he loses to in the top 16 of the Indigo League, where he loses a Pokemon to Pokemon battle or a Pikachu to Pikachu battle to get knocked out in the 3rd round. So the whole point is that Pikachu is like your saving grace, and you lose a Pikachu to Pikachu battle.
Well, to be fair, he threw out a Charizard that doesn't give a rat's ass about what Ash has to do with either. So,
again, judging by the fact that like routinely his Pokemon have issues listening to him and like don't pay attention to what he's saying, and so
no,
again,
there isn't a bad way to earn a badge.
Yeah, that doesn't leads to you not succeeding in your career down the road. So again,
do you want me to just hand you your diploma and stuff, and then when you actually get to like a job, they're like, "What do you know how to do this, right?"
Yeah, and it's like, again, this could very easily be like there's so much wrong with what he does. We could very easily do a part 1 and part 2 of why Ash is the worst Pokemon trainer of all time. So we're going to cover as much as we can, but that's how much bad stuff he does, is that there's enough in here to warrant a 2-parter. So again, what we're going to do, those are the mainly Pokemon he uses for Indigo. We just said he loses in the 3rd round of the Indigo League, and because one of the primary reasons is because he doesn't know what to do, and so he brings out a Tauros that he had never used in battle, just one of the ones he caught from the Safari Zone, and makes it one of his top 6. And if I'm remembering right, I think it's like, is it Muck that he sends back? I'm trying to remember who he sends back for Tauros.
That'd be great, but if you do things to prove you've earned the badge, nothing says it has to be a battle. Orange Islands were largely non-battle, LOL. Gym leader's discretion, I guess.
Yeah, but it seems like that all the other people that he fights, like in the tournaments, like all win their badges by like actually defeating the gym leaders.
Yeah,
and
like
then Ash just
hard
goes
work.
and and so again, there's just so much to go over. So we just said he just won his first ever competition. So I'm just going to go over this really quickly. So he came in, he didn't even got a place. He came in top 16 of his very first one, top 8 in the Johto League, top 8 of Hoenn League, top 4 of Sinnoh League, then gets worse and goes top 8 of the Unova League, then goes semifinalist of the Kalos League, and the one he wins is in the Manalo Conference or the Aloha League. But it even says on the wiki that because there's so few gyms in that Manalo Conference that there's almost no requirements on entering the conference because there's so few gym leaders to actually beat. So the one he won literally was like, we're like the equivalent of we don't have enough teams to fulfill a full conference, so we're just writing down illegal names so we can fulfill the requirements.
Anyone can. You can just walk in and
just challenge for the league.
exactly.
Ash Ketchum, the winner of the participation trophy.
No, but do you think about this? 20 years. If he goes for a job, he totally fulfills the
requirement. Got all the
experience. He totally fulfills the requirement of a young person who has 20 years of experience.
Yeah, which, mind you, so it's like how many leagues is that, by the way? It's 1, 2, 3,
maybe 8, I think.
4 or 5. Yeah, it's like 7 or 8 leagues that he's all done within a year because he technically has never had a birthday in the anime yet, which means that all this has taken place within 1 year.
Even though there's been like multiple Christmases and multiple.
Yes, but he's never had a birthday, so he hasn't actually aged at all. So.
It's a different time. It's a different world, so the weather is definitely different every day of the week.
Yeah.
Like living in Michigan 24/7.
Yeah.
What
so
if Pikachu is like 900 years old and he's like an eternal,
just in an ancient age. So Orange Islands is tied together with Kanto, so he still uses the only Pokemon that differs in those two is he doesn't have Pidgeot or Butterfree, and he replaces them with Lapras and Snorlax, which he also gives up Lapras, but. So he gives up Butterfree because it wants to, well, for lack of a term, he gives up Butterfree because Butterfree wants to get laid. So he...
Hey, you know what? If your boy wants to get laid, you got to help him out.
Gives up Butterfree. Like, hey, go do Butterfree things and just...
He's a wingman. Come on.
Essentially, yeah. But like Pidgeot, he gives up pretty like later on, but as soon as it becomes a Pidgeot, so like obviously the final evolution, it's like protecting a bunch of Pidgeotos and Pidgeys in Viridian Forest, and he gives up Pidgeot so Pidgeot can become like the grand wise master of Viridian Forest and protect all the other small bird Pokemon. So again, gives up one of the most powerful bird Pokemon ever because it wants to just chill in a forest. Now, again, we're not debating that he's not giving up his Pokemon for good reasons. The debate is why he's such a terrible Pokemon trainer, because he keeps doing things like this.
So the real question I have, too, is like, obviously his mom lets him go out and do his thing. But even your parents, after a while, are going to look at you and just be like, this is just not for you, man. Like, and at this point, she should just be like, bro, you're catching all this stuff and not doing anything with it. I need you to come home and get some money going in this table, because either that or I'm going to go hook up with Professor Oak because I have no idea where your dad's at.
Oh, she's already doing that. That's why she sent him out.
She is 100% doing that. Like, yeah. Like, hey, just go catch Pokemon.
No, but Pokemon, if you think about it, is already messed up. It's like, Devin, imagine like I'm your parent on that, and it's just, all right, happy 10th birthday, son. Here's a rat. Now go out and explore the entire country and don't come back until you've caught one of every animal.
Sounds like the most homeless person type of birthday party ever.
Yeah. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to go over various Pokemon that he's given up, because again, unless we do this as a two-parter, there's so much he's done wrong that we're going to have to just kind of like start going over like the Pokemon he's given up, and then we'll start talking about the teams of Pokemon he's had. And by default, if we mention a Pokemon that's not Pikachu, that means after he's done with whatever league that is, he will rarely ever use that Pokemon again. So obviously Charizard, he does use him periodically, and he's had him back ever since a few leagues ago, but he gives up Charizard for a crazy long time because it's not listening to him. So instead of trying to figure it out, he just gives it to somebody else to train for him, and then eventually takes it back.
Yeah, like the daycare in the game.
Yeah, essentially. Like, just gives it up. Like, hey, Charizard, I know you're not listening to me, but rather than figure it out myself, I'm just going to...
Rather than train you
to listen to me, I'm going to give you to Charizard training, Charizard trainers, and I'll just take you back when you're way more powerful and help out. Bulbasaur...
wasn't Charizard listening to him at that point?
It only started listening to him. It was, well, kind of, yeah. As he gave up Charizard, it was like kind of listening to him. Yeah, Charizard gets hurt when he's like battling.
I think that was the Orange League, because I do remember this.
Like Articuno or something.
It was an ice Pokemon, and it froze it, and he like stayed with him.
Yeah, and then like Charizard kind of started listening to him. So again, why Ash is a terrible Pokemon trainer. Instead of exploring that more, he finds that Terrific Valley or whatever, where it's like they train Charizards or whatever. And they offer to train him. And instead of being like, no, I'm going to do it because he's starting to listen to me and I just like help save his life and we have a bond and blah, blah, blah. Like I've had him since he was a Charmander and I saved his life and all that. He just goes, yeah, you know what? You train him for me. I'll come back.
And then he never came back.
No, yeah, Charizard just finds him eventually and rejoins his team or whatever. Bulbasaur, who obviously he catches really early on, he allows Bulbasaur to choose not to evolve. So
there goes his Hyper Beam.
Yeah,
just
no Solar Beam.
Yeah, yeah. I can't remember what it was, but it was like he's talking to Bulbasaur or something, or Pikachu or whatever, and finds out that Bulbasaur is essentially asking for permission to not evolve. And Ash goes, yeah, sure. Why would I want you to evolve, man?
I mean, at the very least, you could just be like, fine, I'm going to go find a Bulbasaur who will.
Yeah, like, fine, I'm going to use somebody else. And then, this is probably the dumbest reason I've ever had, I've read about for him giving up a Pokemon. And there's a lot of dumb ones. He eventually gives up Bulbasaur because Professor Oak tells Ash that Bulbasaur was the only Pokemon that was able to keep the peace between all of his Pokemon chilling at Professor Oak's place. So Ash gives up using Bulbasaur so it can sit at Professor Oak's and keep the peace.
Yep. Here, babysit my other guys.
Yeah.
So
I got nothing.
Okay, so this is indicative of a bigger problem that I have. I'm leaning back too far. My face is getting cut off. So this is indicative of another problem I have with Pokemon in general, and it's being reflected here in the writing of the show. And that's in terms of the Pokemon that the Pokemon Company loves to just like hawk out to fans. It's Pikachu, and then right below him is Charizard. And so, I mean, if you, I don't want to get too far off on a tangent here, but Charizard is so heavily like featured in so many like spin-offs and like in the new one, Sword and Shield, he was the only starter. Like Charmander line was the only starter from any of the previous gens to make it into the game. Like, so the fact that he was the only one of like Ash's Pokemon that still periodically comes back is because he's one of the most marketable Pokemon.
Yeah, and wasn't he one of the first ones to get a Mega Evolution?
Yeah, he gets 2. Everyone, all the other stars get 1.
Yeah. So the other thing is too that like I know it's because a lot of us we haven't watched past a certain point, but just doing upon our research, like Ash gave up and I'm going to butcher the hell out of this name, but it's the Greninja.
Yes.
He gives up a Greninja because he had it from starter, and
it helped him win the last league, and then he released it. He releases it at the same time as something called a Goodra, but he releases the Greninja because it wanted to help out the legendary Pokemon with cleaning up the region.
Mm-hmm.
So he gives it up. And then he gives up the Goodra on the exact same day because the Goodra was concerned about its friends in the wetlands. So he gives it up so it can do a thing. And then leaves Charizard again so it can become stronger on its own without battling. So that and then on that same day also lets Charizard go for like I'm assuming the 5th time.
Going back to Kanto, didn't he also get rid of Squirtle? He lets Squirtle go back to join the Squirtle squad?
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, he does. So Squirtle, he gets Squirtle for a while. Pretty regular lineup. Again, for some reason, it doesn't evolve. And then after he does his thing, the Squirtle squad is all like depressed or whatever because Ash's Squirtle has been battling with him. So he lets Squirtle rejoin the Squirtle squad, but he's technically still one of his Pokemon. So like Ash could still like call upon him or whatever. I'm like, but how does that work? Like, how long can your Pokemon not be in its Pokeball, but somehow still be yours?
He branded it. It's right on that ass cheek.
AC or AK. Like, there it is. We talked about Butterfree. So Kingler, we talked about it. So I know he's using a Dragonite, and this is just funny. Because it's talking about the Dragonite he's using right now that he taught a Dragonite how to fly, and I'm like, did you just like chuck a Dragonite off a cliff? And you're like, evolve and figure it out. So and then
we gotta save the world. Yeet.
Yeah, and then again, just a terrible trainer. So Mr. Mime is with him now. Yeah, but his mom starts using Mr. Mime, and instead of being like, "Oh, hey, mom, Mr. Mime's like a really powerful psychic Pokemon. Can I have it?" He just goes, "Yes, no, let's Mr. Mime just help my mom out with her chores because there's so much to do when she lives alone, and no one else is around except for Professor Oak, of course."
I mean, you guys kept bringing up Professor Oak, but interspecies lovemaking on Pokemon?
Oh, I'm sure. Mr. Mime is basically he's a humanoid, I'm sure.
Yeah, I would.
Well, there's also the whole thing of like
Mime.
Yeah, and then he gets an Apom, but it didn't want to battle. It wanted to do Pokemon contests. So he trades it for a Buizel to Dawn because it tells Ash that it doesn't want to battle anymore. It wants to do Pokemon contests, and so he just goes, "Okay, I'll trade for a different Pokemon because you don't want to battle anymore."
I mean, the thing is you have a character that you basically designed a whole show around, and the show was based off the game. But then when they come out and they realize the show's good, they start releasing more games, but you still would not even have that. You still have the fact of the matter is that when you would play the games, his name wouldn't automatically be Ash. Even before Ash, you could pick like red, blue,
Satoshi.
green.
You could pick whatever. Yeah, you could do.
It was like random before you even had Ash, and like even your bad guy had Gary.
Yeah,
by default. Yeah, by the default. Yeah. So
but then they blurred that line.
Yeah. So those are the main ones that he. Some of the main ones he gives up. Lapras leaves Lapras joins his team, then he lets Lapras like go. Like he lets Lapras like go do his own thing. Obviously when he gets to Johto, he gets a Chikorita, which does evolve into a Bayleaf. He gets a Cyndaquil, he gets a Totodile, a Noctowl, a Fanfy, a Heracross, and a Beedrill, but he never used the Beedrill. He caught it in the bug catching contest, which he like that made him win or whatever. And then immediately gives the Beedrill to his friend.
Yep, I remember that one.
I'd give you a Beedrill, Mark.
Yeah. So again, as we're mentioning all of these Pokemon, remember that once he goes to the next region, he leaves them all with Professor Oak, and they're never seen again. So Cyndaquil, I mean, like powerful Pokemon that he chooses to never bring to the next region. He goes, I want to start off from scratch.
If we have time at the end of this, I would love to like just look at the team that Ash has, like the Pokemon that he still has either with himself or with the professor, and see if we can like come up with like a really good team that he could have out of those.
Yeah, Devin, while I'm doing this, you want to pull up his current team? So
yeah, I'm looking at it
we
right
can
now
have that.
too.
Okay, so he goes to the next region. He has a Pikachu, a Tallow, which evolves into a Swellow, a Trico, which does evolve, a Corphish, a Torkoal, which is like that turtle thing, and a Glail. And then he doesn't catch anything else. He has just enough people to fulfill his roster before he gets into the Hoenn League, where he caught the least amount of Pokemon. So again, he's going to these regions, and he's barely ever even catching Pokemon to begin with.
He was out of Pokeballs.
Yeah, I'm out of Pokeballs, man.
Plus, if you kept catching Tauros, eventually you're going to stop throwing Pokeballs.
Yeah, and then I know, and here, so okay, we have a comment here. I'm gonna give an unpopular on Ash. I think winning the league in Sun and Moon was the wrong choice for Pokemon. Ash has never been good because the writers will not let him be who I want to be. His character is stale and repetitive. Each season he regresses more and more because as a trainer, Ash misses the basic fundamentals of Pokemon and seems to care about a goal that is not clearly defined.
That's absolutely the case. He
doesn't. It's like he doesn't really want to be a Pokemon trainer because he barely catches them. Like for example, when he gets a Larvitar, which, as you guys know, Larvitars evolve into like that crazy, a friggin' Tyranitar. Ash gets like an egg, like of the thing, but he's never actually officially hatches. He helps it like release or whatever. Like he helps it hatch and then just lets the mother of the Tyranitar go away. Like just.
Yep.
Yeah, and then what is a Pokemon master? It is what you want it to be. Ash seems to think it's beating gyms and capturing Pokemon. Like,
but he doesn't do like.
But he doesn't really. He rarely catches Pokemon. Even when he does like find one that likes him, he will almost never catch it.
And like, he doesn't grasp type advantages. He's just like, oh, you have a Raichu? Well, I have a Pikachu. It's like, really, you don't want to go out with like
you don't want to like
Rhyhorn or like Diglett.
Yeah, like get something that like, and then like there's a lot of Pokemon that. Like Ash catches a Buzzwole, which I guess is some crazy convoluted Pokemon, and Ash lets it go
Mark,
back.
your Gen 1 is showing.
Yeah, I know. There's a lot of Pokemon that he catches in one episode. He catches a Seaking and releases it within an episode. He lets Lapras grow. He lets the Goodra go. He lets like this other crazy weird Pokemon that I can't pronounce go. He has like a Rowlet, he has an Incineroar, he has a Melmetal, and a Linorak, which they're not Pokemon that he keeps at Professor Oak's house. They're at different people's houses that he goes to.
Yeah.
That he also gives up.
Not a damn thing, Dark Sage.
It doesn't do a thing to him. Someone's asking what did actually winning a league do for him, and it didn't do a thing.
It shut up the fans who were like, "How is he still not won?" That's what it did.
Yeah, and then so then you go to like Diamond and Pearl. So he has the Pikachu, he has the Aipom, which we already talked about. He has the Staraptor, the Infernorape, the Buizel, who he traded the Aipom eventually for, the Gliscor and the Geibel. So he got a few Pokemon, but he can't have more than 6. But he gives up Aipom because it wants to do contests or whatever. He lets Gliscor leave because it wants to train, and then it didn't return to him in time for the Sinnoh League. So not only does he let a Pokemon leave to train, he doesn't even get it back in time, so he can use it for the actual battle.
Homeboy's list now, and I'll share this so we can kind of, because that way, we have plenty of time to go over it. So current setup that we have is the Pokemon Journeys. Is the current show, yes. And the current Pokemon that he is running is Pikachu, which looks like it went to a Gigantamax Pikachu. He has a Dragonite, a Gengar, a Lucario, a Sirfetch'd, and a Dracovish.
Yeah.
Which if you want to talk about my season 1 is showing, what the hell is a Dracovish?
Well, not only that, but like after all this time, then he finally decides to use like 2 of the most powerful Gen 1 starters in Dragonite and Gengar.
Yeah.
Like it took you that long to figure it out. Like it, also, I'll just because I feel bad because Jay Vulpix is a humongous Pokemon fan, so she's pretty upset that her internet crapped out and she can't talk Pokemon. So to help make up for it, we'll try to bring her on at a later date and just let her rant about Pokemon. It won't be an episode like an actual podcast episode, but we'll bring Jay Vulpix on just to talk about Pokemon in general because she's such a huge Pokemon fan.
Don't prep her. Just be like, hey, hop online for a second. Okay,
yeah, and
live.
then just, all right, we're live. Talk Pokemon. Go.
No, we're just gonna have it be like we'll have her like clipped in this, and it'll just be like, so
Okay.
what do you think about Pokemon? And then just cut it out.
Okay, can you scroll down, Devin, so we can all see?
Yeah.
Does it have more about his other stuff? Yeah. Okay.
So
Yeah,
So let's
Professor
just
Oak-
real quick, like amongst ourselves, real quick.
Oh, there's still
Assuming
more, by
that
the
he's
way.
not going to separate from Pikachu, so we have Pikachu.
You have
party.
to do Pikachu.
All right, so we got 5 spots in this party. Who do you guys think we should like put in? Because I know right away my favorite Pokemon. He has one. It would be in the party. Is Snorlax.
He does have a Snorlax.
I don't know a lot about the Pokemon meta, but I do know that Snorlax is pretty strong. I don't know if it's like top tier, but I would definitely put Snorlax in Ash's party.
This is the thing, though. Like, it's not just that. He also has. Here, I'm going to share this to you guys. He also has. He left his Pokemon with a bunch of other professors as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, he has Pokemon he's left with that he leaves with other people.
So, personally, I dig the Incineroar. I think it's a cool Pokemon.
Oh, Incineroar is like insane.
Yeah, I think that would be a solid fire choice for him.
Yeah, so he left that
Incineroar
one.
is it? Well, there's more. Like if you want to mix it up, he gives up. He has a Talonflame, which is a fire bird Pokemon.
Yeah, and he's got Charizard too.
Yeah, and he has Charizard. If I had to, one I would pick because it's a good mix. That I think would be on his team or should be on his team. Would be Infernape because it's a fire and a fighting type. But that's
Okay.
So again, we're saying like if he didn't choose like a Charizard or something like that, that'd be another solid choice because of that. It's that cross kind of like double thing or whatever.
2 type.
Yeah.
Double type.
Yeah.
Halucha.
I could get behind this Pokemon. It's a fighting and flying Pokemon.
Yeah, so he's got like 3 or 4 fighting flying types. He's got Charizard, he's got Talonflame, he's got this thing.
Yeah, and then you can even go Psychic. So I'm looking, I like Psychic Pokemon.
Uh-huh.
I know he's using a Gengar right now, but out of the one,
sorry.
he is. Yeah, he's using a Gengar now. But he gives up Noctowl, which is a flying Psychic type.
Wait, go back down on the list. I'm just looking for something because your list isn't matching up exactly with mine.
So I gave you. I sent the link in the private chat too.
Okay, you're on the Pokemon wiki. I'm on Bulbapedia, so
Okay.
two different wikis, but that's fine. So on mine, so assuming that we're going off this one that has a few extra Pokemon that aren't on your list, he has a Gibble. Like that evolves into a Garchomp, so which is like I know one of the like best Pokemon from its gen, if not overall. So I can't imagine why he would not use a Gibble. And it's not like, oh, he gave it away to someone. It's sitting at Professor Oak's.
Yeah.
To be honest, that the Dracovic or whatever is a dragon, and it's a dragon type mixed with, I think it's a flying. Oh, water. It's a water dragon.
Okay. So the only reason I know certain, like some of these later Pokemon is because I play Pokemon Go. And if you look at my highest like valued Pokemon, like my Slaking is first, but my Garchomp is second. Like it is one of the best Pokemon. So
yeah, it is.
I mean, why wouldn't you carry around an Oshawott? It's like seriously like one of the cutest looking Pokemon.
And it evolves into it's like a Samurott. It's like a samurai seal.
he doesn't know it. Ash is a slave to capitalism.
Yeah, he is. I bet he
Yeah.
gets. I bet he gets returns on which Pokemon he uses. He gets whatever toys sell. He gets
Yeah,
a cut
and
of
then
that.
he has like a what is it, like a Boldore, which is like a crazy, which is like a rock Pokemon that evolves into like crazy things.
Yeah, it evolves into. I forget the one it evolves into, but it does have another evolution. And
It's got a third one that's like huge.
I mean, let's go. Let's be real. You can't sell this type of stuff. You can't sell a Metamall or whatever, or a
Melmetal.
Yeah, Melmetal. Yeah, he has
Ice
a Melmetal. Yeah,
as you know, as trying to promote that, like Ash has
Yes.
a Melmetal now. It's like, who cares?
Yeah.
It looks like something Dad bought at the AutoZone. You know what I mean? Like you can't.
yeah.
Hey, your McAfee needs to be updated. Just saying.
Yeah. Yeah, he's in jail. I can't be updating him. He's not doing his own
That's
stuff.
true. No, he's
But-
not in jail anymore.
Oh, yeah, he's dead.
It's not the fun place.
Yeah, but like, I mean, just think about how many Pokemon he gives up. Or like, again, we're talking about the ones that have like a freaking flying. I'm obsessed with that, like bird, like that fire bird thing.
Let's see. You got I got Bulbapedia up here for you.
Yeah,
'Cause I
keep
know you
scrolling
said-
down, and it's got more of like the Pokemon he has right now. There you go. That's the list I'm on.
Yeah,
I mean, dude.
no, the list goes on for a while where he
Yeah,
gets.
keep going down. There's a lot more.
Like I am so behind getting like a Totera.
Yeah, he
It is one of
lets-
my one of the.
That's a
coolest
great
Pokemon.
one. That's grass
Pantera is
and
very-
ground type.
Yeah, and then he lets Pidgeot go. Yeah, sure you can. And then he ends up giving up Pidgeot, but then replaces it with a Star Raptor, who's arguably just as good, and then lets that go too.
No, it's with the professor, but still, like
Yeah, they're with the professor. Yeah,
there is the makings of a really good team here, and
there is
he's
an amazing team. Look at like it's like okay, I'm gonna go through and pick my 6 between what he's using now. So if you so my 6, I'm gonna go with.
Oh, I better start looking at mine.
Yeah, I'm gonna
here.
go with 2 of the ones he's using right now. I'm not gonna go Lucario because I feel like I want to go like kind of like legendary a little bit.
Okay, you have to keep Pikachu though.
Yeah,
Everybody
no,
has
yeah,
to keep Pikachu.
Yeah, so you pick your 5.
yeah. You pick your 5. Yeah, so okay, so 5. So okay, for me, I'm gonna go Gengar.
Are you linked up on this one, Mark? Can I keep scrolling?
Yeah, I got.
Oh, I got my own.
mine,
Yeah,
so
yeah, I got
okay.
my own put up. I'm trying to choose different types. So Gengar. I'm actually going to choose Infernape as my fire fighting because Charizard's too infrequent. So Gengar, Infernape. I'm going to go Crocodile as the water one. With that crazy crocodile thing. I'm gonna go Boldore as the rock because it does evolve. And then I think I'm gonna go Melmetal as the last one.
Okay.
I think that's gonna be mine.
All right, I got mine ready. If
Go
you're-
ahead.
All right. So Snorlax, like I said, just favorite of mine, and I think just an absolute tank of a Pokemon. Greninja to get that water type in, water and dark type. Garchomp for dragon and ground type. Obviously, we have to have Pikachu. Torterra for your grass type and another ground type, and then Incineroar is fighting and fire.
It's a
All
solid
right.
team.
So
All right.
mine is Pikachu, Gengar, Torterra, Sceptile, Incineroar, and Totodile.
Okay,
All right,
now
I think I
are
figured
you
out
gonna
what's going on.
are we under the assumption that you're going to evolve Totodile? Or are you
Yes,
keeping them?
the assumption is you evolve the Pokemon that he hasn't finished evolving.
Yes.
Okay, then yeah. So with me, I would get Gibble and I train it up to a Garchomp. So
Yeah.
I think we got Jackie back.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
Yeah, we thought maybe just audio would work.
Okay.
Okay.
Do you want to
so,
try and pick a team with us? So I
Yeah,
have to pull up the list.
right now we kind of got done talking about all the different Pokemon he's given up and like
Oh.
all the Pokemon he's had, but we're on right now. We're picking a team out of the Pokemon he is using currently and the Pokemon he's given up that are like just either like they're off on their own adventure or they're chilling with Professor Oak or they're chilling with a different professor. We're picking the 5 other Pokemon we would want as a team based on the fact that you have
Okay.
no choice but to keep Pikachu.
Devin, your face is all
you
washed
have to
out.
keep Pikachu.
Like,
You have to keep Pikachu.
yeah, so you get
But-
5 other
But
slots.
who else would you
Oh,
choose to
Raichu.
round out the other 5?
No, because Pikachu doesn't want to
Pikachu
evolve
refuses,
into a Raichu.
but
Yeah,
you can evolve
Pikachu
any
doesn't
other.
evolve, babe. Ash,
No, but yeah,
Ash
but
and
you
Pikachu cannot.
but you can evolve any other Pokemon that you would choose. Like for example, if you say that you want Bulbasaur on your team, we're saying that if you did that, then you would have a Venusaur.
Yeah, you could evolve
Okay.
it all the way.
So we're saying that other than Pikachu, you can't change. Pick 5 other Pokemon that he either is currently using or he has used, but you would get the final evolution of it.
So get to the final evolutions. Okay, because I
Yeah,
was immediately like went to Muck and Taurus.
Yeah, you would get the final evolution of it.
Okay.
So what? Real quick, while she's thinking of which ones to pick, I'm gonna share this with you, Mark, because we've talked about this before the thing. But even outside of Pokemon, Ash does a lot of really stupid things, like this one right here. You're gonna have to share it on screen, Mark.
Yeah, I got it. Yeah, so it's when Ash goes to punch Mewtwo and then Mewtwo just blocks it. And the thing says the fact that Mewtwo had to block means he knew Ash's guns were real threats.
Yeah, but could you imagine if he just like ran in and just punched out your Pokemon like you're battling this guy, and he's just like, "No, screw you."
Boo! Pikachu use headbutt.
Or like so you're standing there and it says Pikachu quick attack. It starts running at you. You just straight up just cold clocked it. Just
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like,
no.
if you just why don't you show that kind of like strength against Team Rocket? Just punch them out. Have you
Yeah.
seen some of the Pokemon Ash is able to carry? Ash has guns. I've seen
Ash
this.
has guns. Yeah.
So yeah, apparently like some of the Pokemon that like are you think are like super light. If you look at their weight in the Pokedex, they're like super heavy.
They're very
And there's
heavy, and he's
scenes of
carries
him
them
just
around,
holding one in one hand.
Yeah, and you're like, wait.
There is, hang on, let me see if I can find it. But there's a pretty similar thing though with Misty. Yeah, I'll share this with you in just a sec.
Yeah, Lavatar is close to 160 pounds, and Ash just carries him around.
Yeah.
Also, another good one too. We didn't really mention is Ash has a Pignite. Which evolves into Infernape.
No, not Infernape.
Or not Infernape. What is it?
I know what you're talking about. It's gonna
I played through the game.
Emboar.
Yeah, Emboar. Yeah, which looks just so cool.
Jackie, how we looking over there?
All right, so okay, so 5 others. So Trico, Scraggly. Can I say Lavi? So Lavatar, even though he technically released it.
Yes, because he technically we're
He
counting
had it at one point.
anything that he either caught or he could have caught but chose not to.
Mhm.
Okay. Litten, and then Gomi.
Yeah,
What was
and
the last one?
Gomi is the one that he gave up with Greninja, the one that he got it from the first evolution to the final evolution, and then gives it up because it wants to go take care of its friends in the wetlands.
Yeah.
So he
Real
he
quick,
lets
when
it
people
go.
say that Ash is strong, like I always pull up this image of Misty.
Oh yeah, when she's like helping them pull Snorlax.
Yeah. Hey,
Yeah.
Jackie, and for your next Misty cosplay day, you want to try to do that? Want to try to replicate that?
Just start pulling around
Okay.
Snorlax. But like again, the base premise of why we wanted to do this is because throughout the different regions. So if we're going on the world that Pokemon has given us, which is that all of this is taking place in less than 1 year because Ash has never had a birthday. That means Ash has caught. So let's say. So what's the total at Pokemon for right now? Isn't it like it's like 400 or something?
No,
or was it 8?
Oh,
Currently, it's like 800 something.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's say 800. It's give or take a few. So let's say 800. So that means
898.
at 898.
Yeah.
Jeez, it's almost 900. Okay, so we're gonna round up. So 900, right? Because you could count probably some I don't know, but we're gonna say 900. Yeah, not 898. So let's say 900. So in less than a year, Ash has been in the regions or been around to catch up to 900 Pokemon.
Yep.
He has. I'm not going to count down every single one, but on the rough guess, I'd say less than 60. Because I'm not counting 30 Tauros as 30 Pokemon. That's one. Because it's Tauros.
You caught one Tauros. How was it?
30 times. So
Gotta catch them all.
arguably probably less than 60 or around 60 at most.
Okay.
Out of 900.
Do
And
we
he's supposed
assume that in this world they follow the same 365-day calendar?
76.
I would have 76.
76.
Okay, so 76 out of essentially
Yeah.
900. And yes, I would argue a normal calendar year, 365, because they haven't established anything else.
Okay,
So,
fine. So 75 Pokemon in 365 days.
yep,
So
out of 900.
yeah, I mean
So that's math.
Math.
Well, I mean, but even if you go back and look on the smaller scale and like Gen 1, he only caught like
Yeah, so
I
it
think
means
like
he's
15 of the 150.
he's roughly caught 8.5% of the available Pokemon to him.
He did the math.
I did the math.
He
He's caught
did the monster math.
math. So yeah, he's roughly caught about 8.5% of the Pokemon available to him. 8.5%.
Mhm.
And 365,
Wow.
and then
Jesus
he
Christ.
catches maybe 4 Pokemon a month, just
Yeah.
a little bit less than 5 Pokemon a month.
So imagine for a second that you go out, you you kiss your mom goodbye and say, "Hey, Mom, I'm going out to explore the world. I'm going to catch them all. I'm going to be the world's greatest Pokemon trainer. I'm going to catch them all." You show up and you're like, "Hey, Mom, I'm here. I got 8% of what I said I would do."
I did 8%.
And then
Again, that's
also
why we wanted to do this.
talk about
Bob
his
is-
money issues. Like, where does Ash get his money from? Or does he have any actually?
Same
So
way
there-
he gets his badges.
Yep.
Yeah, sympathy. There is actually a theory that Ash's dad is Giovanni, and that Giovanni has been sending money to him and his mother.
And that's why Giovanni hates him.
No, he doesn't know that Ash is his son. He just knows that he's sending anonymously like money to his wife and child that
He's paying child support.
exactly that he refuses to like acknowledge, but he's like, "I'll pay the money." So Ash is actually getting funded by Team Rocket.
I mean,
Right.
it could be possible, but again, so part of the reason why we wanted to do this, and again, we could easily stretch this into a 2-parter because of the fact of how much he does wrong, and yeah, that's why Team Rocket follows him to keep an eye on him to make sure that nothing actually bad happens to him.
Yeah, they are. There is.
Jesse and James
that.
are actually just his babysitters, like keep interfering with him and trying to steal his Pokemon to make sure that he's okay.
They try. They're there to like give him a win when he needs it, because
Yeah.
otherwise he would lose all the time and feel like shit and go home.
Yeah, and we're gonna wrap up in a little bit, but again, we could easily do a 2-parter because of the fact that Ash is so just shitty at what he does in being a Pokemon trainer that there was that much to cover about, because we're not even diving into like the number of times he has seen or interacted with a legendary Pokemon and has chosen not to try to catch it or has chosen not to try to go after it. the amount of times that he's been around like insane Pokemon or has seen Pokemon in the woods or in the forest on his journey to go somewhere else and runs away from them or just watches them from a distance and just scans them with his Pokédex.
Do you notice that we hadn't talked about this yet, but from what I understand from reading it, Ho-Oh, the legendary bird, like shows up to him in the first episode, and it's supposed to be like this thing that like only a handful of trainers in the entire world have ever seen, and it's supposed to be like you're the chosen one if you saw it. And then he keeps seeing it like periodically through the show, and it's like always the thing that pushes him to like keep going further. So imagine if Ho-Oh like chose him and then like just hears like, oh, that kid lost again. All right, well, we'll try one more time. And just keep,
We'll try
oh my God,
one
kid,
more.
can you win a match?
Like, Jesus, kid, how many Pokemon do I have to send
Get
your
your
way?
shit together. Gosh.
Like, he like sends like I know for example, Ash just gave the Talonflame and something called Hawlucha are the two most recent Pokemon that are crazy strong that he's given up. Imagine if like the secret thing is like Ho